Hello friends, welcome back to your own YouTube channel Ask Your Gynecologist. I am Dr. Sonal Parihar and as usual I have come back with a new topic for you all, and this time the topic is spina bifida. That means the English word easily suggests spina means the spine and bifida means it is divided into two. So there is a cleft, there is a gap in between the spinal cord, right? So before we actually proceed as to what is the diagnosis, how it is diagnosed, what are the problems and what is the treatment, I would like to just thank you for the tremendous response you have given to the channel. DocWise app is working very well. Every day I am talking to almost 5 to 7 patients and every day they are sending me reports. You get 2 days to connect with me, you get a prescription and it's very easy. You can just download it from your mobile's Play Store, insert my pin C2TXJ and then you get connected with me. The second way to connect with me or to consult me would be using Super Chat on my live sessions. Now I have got two YouTube channels, one is this one and the other one is Dr. Sonal's Answers. I always go live on either that channel or this channel, so you have to subscribe on both channels. It's either 2 to 3 times a week, and in that particular session you can probably ask a question by just using Super Chat. You just click on the Super Chat, insert your card number and then you can get an option to ask a question and get an answer there and then. The third way, the best way to contact me is to come to my hospital. That's my address and the secretary's number. You can take an appointment just before coming so that you make sure that I am in the hospital, I am not out of station, right? So coming back to the topic, a very small topic, spina bifida. Now as the name indicates, the spine is divided into two. Now there are 4 types of spina bifida. One is a very simple one, that is spina bifida occulta. Just as the name indicates, occulta means it is hidden, it is not diagnosed because there is no bifida as such. It is just that the vertebrae in the spinal cord, in your vertebral column, the vertebrae, there is a gap in between the vertebrae. Because of that, the skin overlying that, it shows a dimple because it goes in. So it looks like, it seems to be having a spina bifida, but actually the spinal cord and the membranes covering it are absolutely intact. So it is occulta, and this generally does not get diagnosed during sonography because in the sonography it looks absolutely normal. It is only when the baby is born that you can see that dimpling and you might fear that it is spina bifida. So such people, such patients will probably just have little bit of pain because of the dimpling of the skin, and that's it. The second type is spina bifida, the closed one, the closed spina bifida, where what happens is that there is a little bit of separation of the vertebrae and then there is a gap in the muscle and the skin which is covering the spinal cord. So because of that gap, it probably might show in the sonography. Yes, it might show in the sonography, but the spinal cord and the meninges, they are not coming out of their place. So there is no herniation. It is just that they are at the right place, but there is a risk of their herniation because there is a gap in the skin and the muscle. Now this can be easily corrected with plastic surgery, and such patients generally survive long. They go into adulthood and generally they do not have any problems unless it starts herniating. The third and the fourth types are dangerous. Third part is the meningocele. Meningocele means the meninges, the covering of the spinal cord. It is called meninges. It is of 3 types: arachnoid mater, dura mater, pia mater. These are the names given to the 3 layers of meninges, the 3 sheets which are covering the spinal cord. So when they start getting herniated, this can be easily picked up in the sonography, and this is dangerous because this is called meningocele. And the fourth one, the most dangerous one, will be the myelomeningocele, when the spinal cord along with the meninges starts herniating through that gap, and that is a proper spina bifida, and that is the case where the baby will definitely have neurological symptoms. Now what are the symptoms we expect? Well, when you actually look at the development of the baby, when the baby is developing, it is developing like a tube. Okay, now that's called the neural tube. So that neural tube is kind of broad at the front, so that develops into a brain, and then lower down it just tapers and becomes the spinal cord, which ends where your vertebral column is ending. So basically it has a covering which I just told you, meninges, in the form of 3 coverings, one over the other, and then it is protected by the vertebrae. There is a gap in between the vertebrae where the doctor will go, the anesthetist will go with a needle when we want to give you anesthesia in the form of spinal anesthesia or epidural anesthesia. That is the space which we use to go inside in between the meninges and inject an injection so that your lower area becomes numb. So that is the way we give you anesthesia, right? And then above that vertebral column there is muscle and skin. So this is how God has protected your spinal cord in between so many layers. So as I told you, when there is gap in between these, so it becomes either occulta or closed spina bifida or meningocele or myelomeningocele. Now because it is like a network of wires. Now these spinal cord, basically what it does, it contains nerves. It is like wires connecting your spinal cord with your brain. So when the current goes from the brain, it goes to the nerve, and then that nerve supplies to the different parts of body. So depending upon which particular area of the spinal cord is affected, then the nerve which is affected, and depending upon which part of the body it is supplying, that particular body part will be affected because of this spina bifida. Like for example, if it is lower down, then the lower limbs will have weakness, paralysis, there may be problem in holding urine, there may be incontinence, there may be loss of control of bowel and bladder habits. The patient might get paralysis as well. Now because of the spina bifida, sometimes the baby might develop hydrocephalus, that is the brain might fill up with fluid. That is because the nerves are not working well, so the brain does not develop well, so it kind of becomes a hydrocephalic big head baby. And in such babies, if they are born, if they are probably not treated properly, not getting proper treatment, in such patients then brain will start getting damaged more. They might have seizures, fits, then they might have learning difficulties. If not fits, then they might have learning difficulties, speech difficulties, blindness, and what all. So it just depends which part of the brain, which part of the body it is affecting, and likewise they are managed, and likewise they are told whether the baby will survive or not. Now generally the spina bifida patients, if they are of the occulta type, then obviously there will be no neurological deficit. Even in the second type, in which I said that because of the plastic surgery we can easily close that defect, again in such cases the lifespan and the neurological deficits will not be affected. But the third and the fourth type, generally such patients have not been seen to survive more than 30 to 40 years. So their lifespan is short, and they probably might not survive after 40 years of age. Now coming to the high risk patients, now who are at high risk? As I told you, it generally happens in folic acid deficiency. So a woman who is probably having a balanced diet will never have it, but you never know, it might be just a mutation. She might have some mutation inside. So any patient, any mother who has either suffered herself from some kind of spina bifida, or she has already given birth to a baby with spina bifida, will be at more risk to develop or to give birth to a baby with spina bifida. So such patients need to be monitored. A patient who is giving a history of giving birth to a spina bifida baby before. Now how do we diagnose it? Well, 90% of the cases are diagnosed with ultrasound. It is very easily diagnosed, especially the third and the fourth type. The first type, that's occulta, is generally not diagnosed. Even the second type sometimes might be missed because it is just a skin and muscle defect. Now there are certain blood tests which might indicate certain, sometimes we are not very sure about the ultrasound report, so we do alpha fetoprotein, beta glycoprotein. These are certain proteins which are supposed to increase in spina bifida patients. So these are just supportive investigations, but 90% of the cases are diagnosed by ultrasound, and that is the time when the sonologist will tell you how bad it is, whether it is type 3, type 4, it is just type 2 if it is picked up. Type 1 does not get picked up in ultrasound, as I told you. So accordingly the doctor will manage you. And as I said, the lifespan of the patients have increased because of these plastic surgeries, because of the awareness, because of the treatments that are available now. Initially it was just abortion and nothing else. So 12 weeks is the time when it is easily picked up. Even other defects like anencephaly, when there is no head, these are easily picked up, and it is very easy to abort a baby at 12 weeks rather than going till 20 weeks or 22 weeks, right? So that's it guys, that's all you need to know about spina bifida. In case you have any questions, you can always inbox the questions. I always do a session on the YouTube, so you can easily get your answers, and DocWise app is always there, you can consult me there. Okay, so thank you for subscribing, keep sharing the videos, keep spreading the knowledge, and keep liking my videos. Thank you very much.